And so my son is watching Schitt's Creek on the Netflix, and that's fine. And I was just listening on NPR to John Prine, and I'm realizing they were all being split against each other. And it seems to be a some sort of impetus against, or some sort of impetus for a class war against everyone. And so I'm wondering where everyone fits, because classes are, I don't know what they are. Who fits in what class? Who has what education? Who has what anything? Because I grew up upper middle class, so I can have a certain education, and so I fit into, what does that mean? And so I'm well. Thank you. I'm just thinking, what's the end game? And so if any of us have any intellectual ability to think, to have education, to go to university, then what can we do for those who don't? And those who don't have the ability for education and university, what can we do to not hate those who do? Weepy drunk. Oh, Maggie Ann. A little bit. Yeah, I am. Where, Maggie Ann, where are you from? So I see an attempt to divide us all. And yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Maggie. So if I see an attempt to divide us all, and where do we go? Basque. Oh, my husband's from the Basque country, but he doesn't know it because he's adopted. So, okay. Yeah. So if there is an attempt in the systemic, this is what I study, let that be. But if what it is all about is the rich and the powerful trying to take from the non-powerful and they don't even know they're doing it. I had a student ask not long ago, wait, if they said in their typing this, because they're trying to deal with the class in a intellectual way from afar through our means of understanding them through the ether, and they're typing this question, and they say, oh, but if the people aren't aware of it, does that mean it counts? And I'm like, no, it still counts. They may not be aware of it. They may not be aware of what they're doing, but they're still doing it. So let me put it this way. If you have two parents who are alcoholics, and they're both drinking, and they start to pit one child against another, or pit the child against the parents, or they just start to, whatever they do in some horrible way, are they aware of it? No. They're just doing it. So if people are doing it, then does it matter? So what I'm saying is, if people aren't aware of what they're doing, does it still count? Yes, it does. It counts. So if somebody from a lower class is feeling that they're effed over from an upper class, does it count? Yes, it does. If they're not aware of it from the upper class, that they're effing over the lower class, does it count? Yes, it does. And so I was just listening to some music from John Prine on NPR as I was washing the dishes with my no dishwasher. And does it count? Yes, it does. And John Prine is dead, and he's up here, wherever John Prine is. But it all counts. And don't ask me what I could think of Göbekli Tepe. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because what it all is right now is what the haves have and what the have-nots do not have. And that's what it all matters. That's what it is. And so the haves think that the have-nots inherently cannot have. And the haves inherently have all that they should have to have. That's all it is. And so, So, I was going to talk about Moses. But Moses, he's still important because Moses was still the man who led his people out of slavery, who brought the people from the Egyptian hegemony out to freedom. And that's a very important story. It's important. And, but it's also been co-opted. Even the Moses story has been co-opted. Even the Jewish story of ultimate defensiveness has been co-opted. Everything has been co-opted. And in Los Angeles, things have been co-opted too. So, no, you couldn't listen to me for hours. No, I don't have anything good to say. No, it's not possible. So I'm just trying to figure out my own stuff. And right now I'm just having my own difficult time of trying to figure out how to deal with the haves versus the have-nots. Because there must be a systemic way of functionalizing this. There's got to be. So some people want to be working class and like work with their hands and blah, blah, blah. And other people work with their minds. Why do the people that work with their minds get to make more than the people who work with their hands? Why? Why? So I don't understand this. Some people, and I was just thinking today about how there are 2% of society who are better at understanding how to make from all of the blips, the zeros and ones in our stock market, how to make more money. There are those people who know how to make more money from the zeros and ones from our stock market. I am not one of them. I don't even know that I wish that I were. I don't think that I do. But there are those people who know how to do that. So there are those people, and there are the 2%. Yay. And then there are all of us who don't know how to make that kind of money. And the people who know how to make all of that money from the zeros and ones, they do so. Even in this economy, and even with everything going up and down and up and down, they're like, okay, how can I sell short? How can I do this? How can I do that? And they do it, and they make money. So good for them. Does that mean they're inherently better? Does that mean that they deserve to have some sort of ability to be better than all of us and we should serve them? And so all of this pandemic, coronavirus thinking, all of us are thinking. Whether you're poor or rich or intellectual, you read or you don't read, I don't give a shit. Whether you can do it or not, you are thinking. And you're like, what does it all mean? And if it means something to you, you're like, it could mean this, it could mean that. What is the world we would like to create? And if the world you want to create is one in which more of us participate than not, then we all need to speak up, because they're not making it that way. They're not making it that way at all. They're making it in a way in which we don't speak up, and in which most of us don't participate, and in which most of us have less to say. and in which the most intellectual, the ones who read the most and who think the most, are relegated to the margins. From my own understanding, when those who are powerful, who lead the hegemony, when people are intellectualized and who understand the way systems work, they move those people to the margins because those people then will take from them. But it's kind of an anti-revolutionary perspective. So my perspective of Egypt is limited at best. My perspective of Egypt from Nancy is it's how the many are pushed down by the few. And this is my perspective. And as I see what we're going through now, and as I see how the few continue to push down the many, and I see voting rights subsumed, I see the coronavirus being used for authoritarianism, I see all of this being used to take power, I become also a little bit deflated in my own way. And so, I see somebody, Sarah, I work with the Boston Healthcare for the Homeless. I live in Los Angeles. Sarah Thrace, Healthcare for the Homeless. In Los Angeles, we are the home of the homeless. And this is the place where the people who have nothing, they send them here. They give them a bus ticket to come to Los Angeles, and then they come here, and what do they have? Yeah. Socialism, I don't know. Oh, Brian. Politicizing death. I don't know what to say. It's all kind of messed up. I don't know. I think we're kind of at a tipping point. Does anyone feel a tipping point? Tell me if you feel a tipping point. I don't know. So if you feel like you've been sheltering in place till here and you're about to go to, I don't know. But I feel that we see the homeless on the street. We see the social inequality. We see the rich getting more and more and more and more. And we see anti-intellectualism. We see less respect for education and education in general, from K all the way to the upper levels. And I don't know what to say about it, except that it is a perspective of the haves versus the have-nots, and we are in a maelstrom of what it actually means, of who has and who has not. Now, let me be very clear. I grew up as a white person in Texas, as a person who invaded from 400 years hence to take over from the native peoples, to benefit from the slave people who helped me to grow cotton and whatever. And I benefited in my way. And that is what I have to pay for. And if you think you don't have to pay for anything, you're crazy. Unless you are one of the minorities who is paying, and then it's a different thing. And so if we could all try to give back in some way, then it would be useful. And I don't know what any of this means. And this is, oh God, it's like the most horrible Facebook live I've ever done. It's a little more drunken and a little more real than I've ever done. And let's just think of what is the most fair way that we can create a society. And as people are starving, and I'm not kidding, in this country, in the United States of America, people are starving. And our food banks are being overrun with people who are like, can I have a can of this? And can I have a can of that? And please, please, please. And I don't want to think about the homeless people who are 1 block away from me, because the homeless people who are 1 block away from me, they used to get Taco Bell and this and that from the trash cans. They don't get any of that anymore. None of it. And so I can handle this because I'm paid from UCLA. What's the guy 3 doors over from me who relies on Uber? What's he going to do? Nothing. Or she. And so, yeah, Brian, it's so real. It's so real. Oh, Maggie, thank you. Thank you. So, oh, Ra, wait. I have to go. What? Communal society needs to arise. But what does that mean, Ra? What does it mean that communal society needs to arise? Wait, I'm going back up to him. Mother Earth is saying enough is enough. I agree with you. I do agree with you. So we're all stuck in our homes. We're all freaking out. So everyone freak out together. And yeah. Communism, no. But until, I mean, yes and no. We had communism for 40 years ago, and we can't do that again. So we have to do like new communism. So that's a different thing. Everyone stay chill. I'm going to sign off before I embarrass myself anymore. And take care.